Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Direct Mail Automation School, the podcast for marketers who are looking for an edge as they deploy direct mail and omnichannel marketing campaigns. I'm Dennis Kelly, CEO of Postalytics, the leading direct mail automation platform designed for marketers to deploy automated direct mail and omnichannel marketing campaigns with the speed, integration, and analytics of digital marketing. Today, our guest is Brian Snider from GRI Marketing Group. Brian is the president of GRI. They're a direct and digital marketing agency delivering responsive, integrated marketing across lots of different media. They incorporate strategic planning, strategic execution, campaigns spanning offline, online, and out-of-home channels. They have over 35 years in the field, and they've yielded significant results for clients, including publishers, finance, professional services, IT, and more. Welcome, Brian. We're psyched to have you on today.
Oh, thanks a lot for having me, Dennis. My pleasure.
Excellent. To get started, why don't we talk about, how you got to this place in your career? We love hearing the backstory. How did Brian Snider end up as president of GRI Group? What did your career look like, and how did you get to this point?
Well, I started out in the Fortune 500 world, Dennis. I was in telecommunications sales. I was a major account representative handling enterprise deals for some large clients in Fairfield County and Westchester County. And I was doing well, going through the corporate ranks, and then started working for a small electronic mail company before electronic mail was around, before the internet was around. So you can imagine how hard that was to try and sell something that nobody knew anything about. So I had to give a little education there. And, did that for a year or so, and then realized the company was just way ahead of its time, and they needed to make money quick. So they started making money doing laser letters, as they called it. 1-2 color laser letters for collections, for publishers, for renewals, for acquisition. And so I did that and helped them grow some revenue that way. And then all of a sudden I realized, the world of this is direct mail. It's a lot more involved than 1 color, 2 color laser letters. There's so many things and bells and whistles. And then it dawned on me, what do I need to work for these guys for? I could do this myself. I went out and forged relationships with letter shops and printers and card manufacturers and all that. I went to business form school because back then, to learn how to do all that, you really needed a good knowledge of the paper and the processes and things like that. And then I just started going out there and showing different ideas and formats. Back then, the big key thing was a snap pack. You tear the thing off the side and pull out the piece, and people are like, wow, you know how to do that? And I'm like, because it was business forms related type of stuff. So I went around and pitched that to a lot of publishers, some of the really big guys out there that most everyone's heard of, and it worked. The stuff was going like gangbusters, and people were ordering millions and millions. And the next thing I knew, I had a nice business going there. And then I realized, I'm not a direct mail broker. I'm an agency. So that I changed my thought process and it started focusing more on creative services along with the mail. And things just start taking off from there. And so we probably ended up working with about 100 different publishers, from the Wall Street Journal, the Time, to Forbes, on and on and on. And the package is one, and it wasn't just snap packs; it was everything. And we grew, hired a bunch of people, and then we started branching out into other verticals. Insurance is another major one that we work with now. Professional services, higher ed, and similar technology, similar thought processes with all that. But the verticals, obviously you have to understand them and learn them, especially something like insurance. It's highly regulated, but we learned it and we applied our methodology to all of that, and it works.
Oh, that's great.
Here we
are,
37 years later.
37 years later, you've got your own agency, GRI. One thing that I learned recently, I wasn't aware that GRI stands for Greater Return on Investment, which I think is an awesome name for an agency. So this podcast is about omnichannel marketing. And so given that your company's name is greater return on investment, how do you think about how omnichannel marketing actually impacts return on investment? And, with that in mind, what type of strategies do you bring to the table when you're talking to your clients about the return on investment and omnichannel campaigns?
Well, omnichannel in today's world is almost mandatory. I mean, you don't know where your clients are fishing, so you want to be able to go and reach them and touch them where they're fishing. So whether they're on their phone, whether they're surfing the web, are they checking their email, are they on a website, are they home, get a piece of mail, a phone call? You just don't know. So you want to be smart about it and hit them where they are and hit them with the right relevant type of message. So that's where, starting with the methodology there, when we start with a client, first of all, we look at who are they trying to reach, who's their target market, and what channels are they doing today? Are they just doing digital? Are they doing mail? Are there reasons why? Yes, no, or whatever? Are they afraid of one thing or they don't know another? So we kind of analyze all that. And then we take a look at their data, which is extremely important. What do they have already in-house that we could utilize? And then we want to take that data and model it and go after like-minded folks that are the best customers. And then we put together the media plan and the strategy of, okay, now let's figure out, we know who we want to hit, let's find out where they are, and let's build the relevant touches to achieve those objectives.
Cool. And do you find that by taking that approach, that omni-channel approach, you're able to get better results than if you are kind of narrowly focused on one or two channels?
Absolutely. I mean, if you just do a one-off email campaign, you're only going to get so much. So if you take that email campaign and you surround it, with a couple of digital touches prior to that, maybe some social media ad spend, match the addresses there. Maybe you want to, and then also put a mail piece in there. That's the way to go. I mean, normally what we like to do is we like to get the low-hanging fruit first, the cheapest way. So what is that? Obviously, well, let's email them. Get a lot of people from email as fast as much as we can, and then the real sticklers, then we get them with the mail piece because they're a little harder to get. But definitely, the results are much different from an omni-channel, multi-channel approach than a single channel. Absolutely.
Yeah, we see the exact same thing. And, one of the things that we will often tell our clients when they're getting started is look at your email and let's start zeroing in from a direct mail perspective on the people that aren't opening your email. Like you said, low hanging fruit.
That's my point. Get the low hanging fruit first. Exactly.
So, you mentioned data. And, one of the other things that we really try to zero in on with our clients, and we talk about a lot in this podcast, is about how to use data to segment and personalize. You said right up front, you will look at the data assets that your clients have. How will you kind of work with those assets, maybe find other data sources to really drill in and narrow those segments down and really personalize those touches?
Well, we first of all want to look at how their data is structured. What information do they have about their clients or prospects? And then again, it depends. Are we touching their internal database? Are we touching their clients and cross-selling them or upselling them? Or are we doing a prospect mailing where, everything's cold? We don't know all that much about them other than what's publicly available. So, it's different for each program, whether it's an in-house or whether it's an external type of thing. So, I mean, I can give you a couple of examples. With one large client that we have, their insurance carrier, and we work with their affinity group, and so we've done some very cool stuff with them. We have data on the years of membership, and depending on how long they've been a member for this association, they get a very specific offer. So that's all dynamically printed, or it's printed on the mail piece dynamically, and also on the email as well. So we have some really good results with that sort of thing. Another situation, that we have. And we did this with email, and we also did this with direct mail, which was really cool. It was for a university that had 4 different campuses. So this was a donor application. We're soliciting for fundraising. And so what we did is we had different variables. We had the graphics of the specific campus. We had graphics and pictures of people in the specific major we were going after. And then we also had success stories from the alumni in those specific areas or specific majors. So we had the emails and the direct mail were all dynamically personalized with all those 4 variables. So it was highly, highly personalized to that person. So if they were at the Newport, Rhode Island campus, they're going to see pictures of the campus and have a little nostalgia. If they're a business major, they're going to see, people in a business class. And then they're also going to have an alumni story from a business major. So being able to have that data in the data set was very helpful. And it was cool too, because not only you had graphics, but you had text as well. And it was all dynamically imaged on the direct mail piece, and it was also on the email as well. And the results one of their most successful campaigns they ever had too.
That's great. That's great. Taking advantage of that ability to use data to drive the creative, and in doing more than just saying hello first name, right? It's so much more powerful when you can drive, like you said, graphics or unique offers that are based on
exactly.
The segment, and you can get so much better results by really narrowing the calls to action and the entire experience around those segments.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, and that really sort of leads into a discussion around technology. We at Postalytics obviously are big believers that automated direct mail can really play a pivotal role in successful campaigns. At GRI, you've had a chance to work with direct mail automation. What do you see as the strengths of automation in the direct mail process, and what are the weaknesses sort of relative to more traditional or legacy-based direct mail kind of processes?
Well, the strengths of automation and direct mail, number one is the speed to market. There's nothing out there like it, where you input the data into the system and bam, a mail piece is out the door in a day or two. That's unheard of. I mean, it's unbelievable. So the speed to market, getting your offer in a timely manner is just there is no rival to that. The ease of use, once you set it up, it goes on automation. Doesn't get any easier than that, which is unbelievable. And then also the dynamic personalization capability, being able to program in graphics and text and all of that, and be able to program that in and do that. Again, it's just a phenomenal thing. As far as the weaknesses relative to the direct mail processes, the only weaknesses I see right now, Dennis, are you're a little bit limited in the formats. So there's only so much you can do format-wise. You can do a letter, an envelope. I don't know how big the letters or whatever, with perfs, things like that, BREs maybe you can add, but you're limited with the number of formats, the sizes. So that's one thing. You can't tip a card or a label on there or other fancy things like that. But again, those are bigger direct mail jobs, so it is kind of what it is. But the other thing is, on a large scale, if I'm doing a several million piece mailing or whatever, you're not going to be able to compete on pricing when you're going to a large web house. It's cranking those things out, pieces per second. So that's a other thing. But again, it's not meant for that. But there's definitely a tremendous need for the automation. I see once people become more aware of it, it's phenomenal. I think we're looking at the retargeting aspects, which I think again is a phenomenal thing that people just don't know about. Where if somebody hits a website, we're able to match addresses, at least almost half of them, and send them a postcard or a letter, which is unbelievable to be able to do that. So I think that's going to be a big trend in the digital world once people are aware of it. And we're happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we see the same thing with our clients, where the big driver toward using Postalytics or other direct mail automation tools is really, hey, I got a use case where I need speed, right? And I need to get it out, and I need it to go quickly. I need it to be just set up and go. And I don't have time to go line up printers and negotiate deals and spend a lot of time talking about this stuff. It's just got to run. And
Absolutely.
And as you said, the downside of that is, well, hey, I can't go construct something from scratch and use any type of format at any time, because it's got to follow along a fairly templated approach. And over time, what we're doing is we're adding more formats as we grow our business. We have more steady volume that we can feed our print partners, and so we're continuing to grow that template list of different types of formats. But it's not I can do anything at any time like you can with a more kind of traditional direct mail process.
Right.
So, you touched earlier on the insurance industry, and I know that that's been a key vertical industry for you at GRI. And it also happens to be an industry that is very reliant on direct mail. And we're just talking about how automation really enables some new use cases, really, of direct mail. So in the insurance industry, what are some of the things that some of the ways that automation can be deployed that can be new things in the insurance industry that maybe haven't been really dealt with before or tackled?
I see a couple of areas. Number one, to be able to integrate your service into their CRM systems, whether it's HubSpot or whatever they're using, and to be able to touch them with certain triggers, being able, again, using their data to know, if somebody has a life insurance policy, maybe I need to send them an offer for home insurance and bundle it. Being able to cross sell is very important. You'll be able to bang that out with automation. And also two other areas, you want to retain your customers. So, you need to send out certain touch points for certain milestones. Is it their 1-year anniversary? Is it their birthday? There's some nice touches you can do there to help in retention. Is it time to renew their policy? Let them know ahead of time. So these are different types of things that can be implemented right within their CRM, and just makes the agent's life so much more productive and so much more effective. The other area is on the prospecting side of things, is again, when people are visiting their websites, depending on what pages they're seeing, you can send them a letter, you could send them a postcard, again, to try and bring them back in. Again, another touch point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that this ability, as you're saying, to tap into the CRM and the marketing automation tools and internal data sources to drive direct mail is really new, particularly in industries like insurance that they're not moving as quickly as a tech company. But they have been investing in these tools. They've been investing heavily in Salesforce and HubSpot and all sorts of other tools, and they're gathering a ton of data there that can be used in direct mail. A lot of times, marketers think about a channel and they think about the way that the data source has traditionally been used. Where in direct mail, it's often an acquisition, lead generation campaign where they're renting a list from a third party. But like you're saying, now we can tap into data that's already owned by the insurance company or by the agency, and then use that data to, touch customers at very specific times in that customer life cycle and not have to worry about batching up big numbers in order to make it economical. And so, we're really excited about that insurance use case. We got a lot of customers that are starting to roll in the insurance industry.
It just makes sense. I mean, these guys are busy, and you talk about, hey, you want to do a mailing, and they're like, a mailing? Oh my God, I got to printer, letter shop, creative, this, that. It's a headache. All those different touch points and things they have to do, and they're not aware that they can automate this thing very quickly, and make it so much more effective for them.
Absolutely. Well, with a name like GRI, Greater Return on Investment, I think it's right in line with the way that the marketing world has really shifted in the last 10 or 15 years toward more performance-based marketing. But at the same time, brand and brand identity is still a huge component of the value of any organization. And so, when you're talking to clients, there's this sort of natural tension that exists between performance and brand a lot of times. But when you're talking to clients, how do you help them balance their investments in those two kind of competing factions? And can they really kind of serve both at the same time? Or, how do you think about that distinction?
Well, it depends on what level you're talking about of delivering somebody's brand. I mean, they always have to be utilizing, their brand experiences from every single touch point, whether it's part of a campaign, whether, the person that answers the phone. At every step of the way, there's an interaction with a customer. They're delivering their brand experience. So that's one thing. And as far as on our end, campaign management and things like that, we work very hard to make sure now you have your brand identity, your logo, your tone, how's the thing supposed to look? Is it business-like? Is it this, that? So, we're very strict stewards of a client's brand. A lot of them give us their brand guidelines as far as the creative is all concerned again. But, again, how much, investing in their brand. Well, I think that it's important they're investing in their day-to-day brand experience. That's something that's kind of out of our control, but in the communications area, it's extremely important. We run into situations where somebody says, well, here's our brand. And you look at it, and it's got all these bright colors and pictures and this and that and whatever. And they want you to do a serious direct mail campaign. And you look at it, and we've had situations with very large companies where they've come to us and they've said, this is our brand identity, but it doesn't. If you adapt it to direct mail, it hasn't worked for us because for whatever reason, all the different colors and this and that. So, you got to tone it down a little bit. Maybe you just do one color, not two or three of these colors are as bright. Maybe we don't use some photographs or whatever. So, it's been interesting. There have been situations where clients have had winning direct mail packages with no real branding other than a logo, and then they ask us. They say, "Okay, now we want you to really." Design with our brand in mind, with all these different shadings and colors and photographs and stuff like that. So we do the best we can to try and deliver that, but being cognizant that you're still trying to get a conversion here, and you don't want to distract people with too much. So it's a delicate balance sometimes, but at the end of the day, you got to be cognizant of what the client wants, and you want to make sure their brand is delivered in a very professional manner. And at the end of the day, though, you still have to have that ROI and get those conversions too.
Yeah. No, there's no question. And so I think that omnichannel campaigns are a great avenue to get those conversions, generate leads, but also leave people with a positive brand impact. And when you're using personalization and you're speaking to somebody about something that's very relevant to them, then you naturally think, well, this organization has their act together. They're talking to me about something that matters to me, and they're not just sending me things that I'm just going to throw away. So, I think it all goes into that too, right? All of these elements we talked about is the timing and the segmentation, the personalization. That has a big impact on the way that recipients, whether it's email or direct mail or digital, whatever the case may be, it impacts their perception of that brand. So I do think it works all together that way.
Well, absolutely. It has to be extremely professional in the way it looks and professional in any of the personalization that you're doing. I mean, God forbid I've seen some personalizations where they didn't spell my name right. They called me Bruce, not Brian. I mean, it's like, what? New Snider? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you got to make sure the data is accurate too. And some doozies out there. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything you do when you communicate to somebody, it's all about you're delivering their brand experience. So you have to be extremely cognizant of that. Absolutely.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, wrapping up here, Brian, really appreciate you coming on board today, talking about your experiences at GRI Group and kind of your views on how things are evolving in some of these specific cases. If our customers wanted to get in touch, if our listeners want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach out and talk to you at GRI Group?
Probably the easiest way to remember is just to go to our website and look up. It's gridirect.com, or if you Google the GRI Marketing Group, will come right up. Or if you want, you could send me an email directly. I'm happy to respond. It's bsnider, that's BSNIDER at gridirect.com. Either way, I'll get back to you.
Excellent. So that's Brian Snider, GRI Marketing Group. That's gridirect.com. Reach out to Brian and his team. They're a great agency. They can help you out. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today for another great episode of Direct Mail Automation School. We'll look forward to talking to you again soon.